Welcome back. Our time right now is 7:25, and we're going to shift gears here. And if anyone who's in back right now can hear me, we're going to keep writing out what's going on the radar for you here. As we just had this pop up during the commercial break, it is our first what looks to be tornado warning. Now, I'm going to look at what the National Weather Service is saying, so we're going to stick with this, see what the warning time on this. As of right now, it is 7:45. So the next 20 minutes, we are in severe weather mode, and we're going to take a look at a few products here as we take a look at what is going on. Now, there are some signs, according to the Weather Service here, of the radar that we're seeing some signs of broad rotation. So no confirmations anything is on the ground, and no confirmation of any visual sighting of anything that is on the ground. I'm going to switch over to a couple of things we do here in the Weather Center when it comes down to tracking rotation. Right now, I'll show you the area of main concern we'll be looking at right in here, and you can see that this is definitely showing us a little bit of a hook, we would call this, where that pinkish purple area is right in the middle. I'm going to leave that circled and look through a few other radar products that we have. The first thing we'll do is look at this where we see the brighter colors. The brighter greens that we have here show the velocity, the wind speed. So we know that we definitely have a dynamic cell here with a lot of wind. Now, this broad rotation could be in the form of what we would call a spin-up tornado if this actually is on the ground. This means that we would have some rotation that is putting this down and hopefully pulling it back up very quickly if it makes it to ground level. But if you're in Lobelville, if you're in Centerville, you can see the area in which this is going. Even if you were in Hohenwald or Linden, I want you to find your safe space. And we have not talked about severe weather in a long time, especially here in a December month. It's been since last year we've had a tornado this time of the year we've been watching here on the radar. So taking a look here, safe spot means you are finding your basement, your lowest lying area when it comes to your home. We're not going in the upper areas. We're not going near windows. We're also not going near the outer walls. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you possibly can. And this is brand new here. As of 2 minutes ago, into the Weather Center. We went code red yesterday for the possibility of severe weather, and now we are seeing our first sign of it. This is our first warning of any kind that we have seen so far this morning. I want to show you this other radar product that we look at where reds and greens move in, and reds and greens on the radar are not a fan of each other. I'm going to zoom in even more here and then take off the click that has the actual warning on it. That red flashing box is a tornado warning until 7:45 this morning. Sometimes they cancel the warnings earlier, other times they let them ride. But what we're seeing right in here in this area is we're seeing a combination of reds and grays, meaning that we could be seeing some broad rotation with the system that is moving. So areas like Beaver Dam Springs, Hornertown, moving up toward Crossroads, Woodland Heights, Centerville eventually, and Swan Bluff through 7:45. The possibility that we could be seeing some rotation that could be making it to ground level. This is, again, by the Weather Service just issuing this as radar indicated broad rotation. What that means is we're not seeing it as a visual confirmation. Now, the sun is up right now, so there could be the possibility that any local officials that are in the area may give a sign that they are seeing something, but as of right now, we're not seeing much. And I'm seeing another area of concern right here, down toward the bottom of this morning, the Sugar Hill area. Now we're starting to see some greens, so a couple pockets that we're watching in terms of this exact warning. So just east of Sugar Hill, and these have been very quick-moving storms. So I'm going to leave that circled and zoom this out, put a track on it for you of where we could be seeing this making its way here throughout this entire cone of this warning. So we'll put a track on it. We'll go at 50 miles an hour. That's about how fast this has been moving, and that is why it is warned all the way through the Centerville area. Centerville, within 25 minutes, you would be seeing this making an impact for you. I want to zoom in all the way again and find some local roads, some local landmarks we could use, some benchmarks to show us where this could be going. This is, again, zooming in even more. Splitting Pleasantville and the Hohenwald area. What we look for on the radar are 2 or 3 different things. Do we know, first of all, that we have something on the ground? And then when we do, how close together are the reds and the greens on the radar? The closer they get together, that means tighter rotation. When things rotate tighter, they can make their way to the ground. We do have indications from this storm system that it has not only been producing a lot of lightning, we've all been hearing the thunder, we've seen the lightning in these areas, but also this area of the storm system has had a history of hail, meaning it's a very tall weather maker. I always tell kids whenever I go to any schools that when you were this tall, were you as strong as you are when you're this tall? No, it's the same with storms. The bigger a storm can get, the stronger it can be. And we are seeing a little broad rotation right here just east of Sugar Hill. And again, this is an active tornado warning for us here until 7:45. We're about 5 minutes into it with radar indications of rotation in some areas. I'm going to go show you a few other things that we look at right here that we only have at Fox 17. And one of those is called a rotation detector, where it takes only a look at the upper atmosphere, and if there is any rotation, I'm going to clear everything off and start from scratch. First of all, we'll show you the actual radar image that we look at when you're typically seeing rain that is coming down. The reds, the oranges, the yellows. I've got lightning turned off as well. I want you to see the areas of concern for us that I was just showing you right here in the Sugar Hill area, south of Linden and right just south of the Bethel area. If you are waking up and just turning this on right now, we've been here live and local for you since 4 o'clock. We were in a Fox 17 code red weather alert, and we were in a warning and are in a warning right now for a tornado that could possibly be making its way on the ground. I treat every tornado warning as though it is on the ground. Your safe spot is the biggest thing for you right now. Beardstown, even though you're not in this marker here, and you're gonna get a little jump right here. You're gonna watch the radar every 5 minutes where you get a hop and a skip, and that's the newest radar image that we have. What happens is the radar spins in circles, does a full gathering of information, brings it in, and then hits it back out onto us here, onto our maps. So this is what you're used to seeing. The reds, the yellows, and the oranges. I'm going to check in with the Weather Service real quick and see what they are saying, and no updates on this as of right now. Sometimes they'll give us an update if they're actually seeing anything, and sometimes they'll just say, we're going to let this ride and see what's going on. So as far as the reds and the greens we're seeing, again, I'm still seeing indications here. It's actually picking up a little bit when it comes to the colors, getting a little more enhanced right here. We see on the radar right here, Jen, and we've been in I'm going to tag in Jen as well.
Yeah.
We went into code red for the possibility of this type of a setup this morning, where you get a line of storms that move in that can eventually get a little bit of a dynamic here and give you the possibility of a little bit of spin, like we're seeing. And this could be one of those brief spin-up tornadoes, potentially.
Well, and I want you to know, Greg, as soon as you went into your tornado warning, I started calling businesses in Linden, just to, first of all, alert them that we do have a tornado warning, also to check on them to see if everybody is okay. I just got off the phone with the folks at the Food Giant, right there in the heart of downtown Linden. She told me they are safe. They are taking precautions, but right now they do not see a tornado on the ground. Again, that's at the Food Giant right in the heart of Linden. She says it is really stormy right now, but they are making sure everybody has a plan that they can get to a safe place. But right now, she said it's just really stormy right there.
Yeah, very stormy. And that's also one thing, too, is the visibility is near zero in some of these storms. Now, while Jen was just talking here about what visually people are seeing, I was talking to the Weather Service, and they're seeing what I'm seeing right now, where we still have these reds and green colors I was talking about a few moments ago, where they don't like each other, meaning if you can draw a line between them, that's a good thing. That was also a good jump. I said every few minutes we see the radar scan continue to move. This means that rotation is broadening. It's getting wider and wider. Things can't spin as fast when they get wider in the atmosphere, and it looks like that this has actually gotten up to be a better scan here. And what the Weather Service is saying, the next scan or two, they may let this expire. And this means that this could have been, what I was mentioning a few moments ago, a brief spin-up tornado. We don't know if we have confirmation yet, but what happens with those, they're hard to find on the radar because you get those 5-minute intervals of those updates. They can spin up real quick. They're usually weak, and they don't last long, and that's why we were in code red, because that potential was there for the exact same area what we're seeing this morning so far this morning. So we always use these different colors, and I know it can be confusing when we show all these different things that are all different colors and what are we looking at. But if everything lines up, and I keep a circle on these storms most of the time because when things line up together, if I switch back over to, let's say what we call our rotation detector, and you can see what that says on the top underneath the words rotation detector, that if it's green, that means there could be some weak rotation. So if I'm seeing the red and green of spin and broad rotation, and the rotation detector is also seeing that, that tells us the possibility of some spin. Now, does everything that rotate hit the ground? Absolutely not.
Tammy.
But we definitely do take a look at this here. And if you just heard Jen's voice right now, she's making more phone calls just to make sure people in these areas aren't seeing anything, or if they are, what's going on. Also just giving them the heads up, because not everyone's watching TV right now. So that's why you also should have the Fox 17 Code Red weather app. It would alert you in a moment. The instant a warning is issued if it's for your county, if you're anywhere within that red flashing polygon, that red flashing box. I'm going to check in with the Weather Center again, and it looks like we're still going to keep this rolling through a few more scans. What that means is a few more of those 5-minute jumps when it comes to any potential rotation. I'm going to clear this out and reset the stage. If you are just joining us here, the entire viewing area is under a code red weather alert, but not everyone is in this tornado warning. Nashville, you are not in a warning. You are seeing a lot of lightning. You have a lot of thunder with that and a lot of rainfall, but this is down toward the Centerville area, down toward Linden, where you're seeing these purples that are popping up here on the radar. I will once again circle the area of concern, and we'll pop through a few different things here while we continue just to call businesses in the area and people that we know to see what they're seeing as well. This is going back to our velocity detector, and another scan has just come in. Things are beginning to continue to stay on the broader side of rotation, meaning a not very compact system that we're seeing. This is, again, until 7:45. If they do not expire it early, I would not be surprised with seeing this if they end up lifting this warning for us here and just going back into normal mode, keeping the scans going. But these types of systems that we're seeing right here always have the potential to get these little areas that can really get just enough air going inside of them to get some lift. The air is warm in front of this. We're talking 60s right now. Behind this, the air is in the 50s and 40s. So warm and cold air don't like each other, and opposite spinning air masses do not like each other. I want you to listen up right now. If you're in Beaver Dam Springs, if you're in Timmins, if you're all the way up towards Swan Bluff and Centerville, stay in your safe spot right now. Turn the TV up if you're not there yet. Get right into the basement. Get into that interior room that you've got in your home. More walls between you and the outside, the better we're going to be. And keep that TV turned up. I'll give you the all clear when you guys can get out of your safe spot. I would say Pine View, you're in the all clear. Horner, you're in the all clear. Flatwoods, all clear there as well. But Hohenwald, all the way north up to Lobelville. Make sure that you are staying in that safe spot. This is our first warning so far this morning. We went into the entire afternoon yesterday talking about what's going to happen overnight tonight, and now we've got the heavy rain, and we do have the thunder and lightning, and I believe we have an update for us here. Jen, what are you hearing?
So let's see here. I just got off the phone with the folks at H&R Ace Hardware in Hohenwald. So your warning area, Greg, that flashing red polygon is just a little north of downtown Hohenwald, and I called and talked to Tammy at the H&R Ace Hardware there. She says they're not seeing anything right now where they are. Again, this is in downtown Hohenwald, and I can see you're circling that area. Mm-hmm. She says right now they're all clear. That adds up and tracks with what you're seeing on radar right now. I can see that little blank space in that area.
Yes.
But she says they are alert right now, they are watching, and they are prepared if they have to get to their safe space. But right now, downtown Hohenwald is not seeing any sign of rotation anywhere.
So we've heard from Linden that they did not see any rotation. We have now heard from Hohenwald that no one visibly was seeing anything.
Sure.
I've been talking about a radar picture of what looks to be a system falling apart a little bit, and I'm seeing from the weather service here that rotation continues to weaken, and the warning is going to be allowed to expire. That may not show up on the map here, but it will be allowed to expire as we go into 7:45. They may keep it on the map just as a precaution, but we have not seen anything actively on the ground. They have not, and things have been weakening here in this area. And it's always great when we get that visual confirmation safely. If you're in these areas, we're not asking you to go out and look. The people that we are calling, we're telling them to safely do it from a distance, from a very safe spot. And we're just taking a look here at, this can happen. If you're new to Tennessee and you're waking up right now with us and you just flip this on, this is not our old broadcast. This is right here and now. We can get severe weather. We can have tornado warnings. It can be active any time of the day, especially in the winter when you have these warm and cold fronts that move in and swing back and forth through Middle Tennessee. I'm going to look at a few more things here and continue to monitor what the Weather Service has to say for us. This is an active tornado warning well to the south and west of the Nashville area. First thing I want to do is kind of re-rack and reset the radar to the entire viewing area, to the radar you're used to seeing. And this shows us that Nashville, you're hearing the thunder. You have got the lightning. We have got a lot of rain coming down in some areas where it's limiting our visibility. You are not in a tornado warning. You are not in any sort of warning, but it's going to slow you down getting up and getting moving and getting out the door. Now, where this warning is again well down to the south and west, and the trajectory of all of our showers and storms this morning are going along the line of this arrow. So they are moving to the right side of the screen, but they're tracking and they're trending in the direction to where we've got to watch this system even if they expire the warning, because this could end up popping back up. Storm systems like this have, a tendency to do this where they'll move, they'll lose a lot of their energy, they'll find a little energy ahead of it, and you could get more rotation that builds back in. So if anyone wonders why are we in code red, waking up, this is exactly why, because even one warning is too many warnings in my book, and it's all worth watching. The red lights are on, and we're also always live and local with you through 9. Every morning for this exact same reason. So we have seen some areas of broad rotation. This is not a confirmed tornado on the ground. We treat it as such, but just so you know that this is not going to be the end of this morning for us here. Our severe weather possibility is still going to be with us until we get ourselves into the afternoon. It will shift its focus more toward the east, out toward the Cumberland Plateau. That's later on this morning toward early afternoon. We'll zoom back into the area of concern. And what is nice to see at this point, or at least comforting to see at this point, is there's not a lot of close-knit rotation here, where it's not very tight rotation. It has continued to weaken. And on top of that, we're also talking about, they've not extended this polygon. That flashing red box has not moved more toward the north and to the east. However, we are hearing about, and like I told you earlier, I actually mentioned this about 5 minutes ago, potential reports of some pea-sized hail in the Hohenwald area. And that's also why our sky looks the way it does. So many of these storms are so tall that you can end up getting so much energy that is so elevated, starts to freeze, hail core brings hail back into it over and over. And pea-sized hail is a decent size. It's not severe weather criteria, but it tells us that we do have some very active storms in this area. We'll take a look and see what the Weather Service has to say for us here, but we have reports from people that we have called here on the air for you from Linden and Hohenwald that are not seeing anything on the ground. The Weather Service has not gotten any reports of anything on the ground, and I have seen nothing on the radar that has overly concerned me. They put this warning in effect about 15 minutes ago for some more broad rotation that has since decayed into what almost looks like a normal thunderstorm when it comes to rotation itself. I want to take a look here at the regular radar, and we can see it looks more like a typical thunderstorm at this point. So we're going to see how much longer we end up rolling with this warning, and it looks like the line of storms that has been trending on this last few scans will continue to trend the same way that they have, but models are showing that, we're seeing things as the sun comes up get a little bit more active along this path line. So these are the cells we'll have to be watching here in the coming hour or two, and I'm hearing that we've got more coming in for us here at the anchor desk. Jen?
Yes, Greg, just trying to help support what you're doing by calling local businesses and seeing if we can get some firsthand weather accounts on the ground in the areas that you're talking about. I just got off the phone with a couple of different local businesses in Centerville. Now, I can see Centerville is on your map. It does look to be in that tornado-warned area, so it's in your red flashing polygon. Downtown Centerville, by the way, a cute little quaint town square. I just talked to the folks at Owens Oil Company in Centerville. He tells me just heavy rain right now. He does not see any indication of any kind of rotation or anything like that. Also talked to the folks just moments ago at Prince Hardware, also in the heart of downtown Centerville, and he told me it's just stormy, and he also has not seen any sign of tornadoes. So all in all, Greg, hearing from the folks from Hohenwald, from Linden, from Centerville, at least in the locations that I've called and been able to reach out to people, they are seeing just really stormy conditions right now.
And that's what we're hearing from everyone that I'm seeing in the National Weather Service chat.
Okay.
They are going to let this expire, so it's going to come off the map in the next hour, or the next minute or two, at 7:45. So now they're just keeping this up here. They're not pulling it early. We've been watching radar scan after radar scan. There is no more confirmation of any radar-indicated rotation. This has gone back to a normal system. Was there something on the ground just to the south and east of Linden when this was issued about 20 minutes ago? That'll be the real question, because this could have been a brief spin-up tornado where those conditions were just right to pop a little small weak tornado for just a few minutes, and by the time the radar caught up to it, it may have already lifted back off the ground. If that's the case, the Weather Service will go out there if they feel like they have to and do a survey, but they have not extended this morning. In about 2 minutes from right now, we're going to see this box pop off. So what I'm going to do in the meantime, until it does, just in case this decides to spin a little bit more, I'm going to set the scene for the rest of today. We'll take you back to the big radar picture for all of us. What we're seeing here across the board is a very dynamic atmosphere. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll show you. I'll circle a few things. We have now brand new thunderstorms that are popping up just to the west of the Murfreesboro area that were not there just a half hour ago, meaning the atmosphere is now getting woken up. All the areas that have not seen rain yet have had a little chance, even though it's cloudy, to work into a little bit of sun to heat up things just enough and to wake up all the ingredients you need to fire on thunderstorms. If you are in areas like Clarksville, Hopkinsville, Portland, the Bowling Green area, even Dixon off toward the west, you're in the all clear. Once this initial line moves through where you're at, everything dies down, and that chance for thunderstorms that could be strong to severe goes away very, very quickly. And again, this warning going to be allowed to expire here in the next minute, but I always stay on until that box goes away just in case, and we'll zoom back in to see why they did put out that warning, because there were some indications of some rotation earlier on about 15, 20 minutes ago. This could happen again later on this morning. There is no guarantee that we stay severe weather free. Just because we have so far until this specific warning doesn't mean that that continues. Taking a look at the Cumberland Plateau, I'm going to give you the last 12 hours and see what you don't see over the plateau. Rewinding in real time here. You see nothing that has happened over the plateau. So now, Weather Service is actually, well, the Storm Prediction Center is actually expanded our chance for severe weather in. Just keep that in mind. That possibility is there.
All right, Greg Bobus has been keeping us up to date with things happening out there in the mid-state here as we have just exited the tornado warning area that was set for places like Linden, Hole in Wall, and Centerville. But
Yes.
that tornado warning, according to the National Weather Service, in the last few seconds has just expired.
All right, so we can breathe a sigh of relief. Want everyone to just kind of collectively regain our thoughts here, but also do want you to be weather aware. This is why we go into a code red weather alert,
Yes.
And that is to make sure you are aware and prepared for weather that could potentially have a negative impact on your day. Now, as we move out of that tornado warning, we do want to check back in with our code red meteorologist, Greg Bobus, right now, because he was mentioning just a moment ago, we may now have an expanded concern for severe weather here in the mid-state. So I think we're going to get to Greg after we take this very quick break. We're going to reset, and then we'll join you back here in just a couple of minutes. Stick with us.